கேக்குதா சார் பேசுறது? ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே.
A very good morning to one and all. On behalf of the Academy of Maritime Education, deemed to be university, I welcome you all for the National Assessment and Accreditation Council sponsored National Virtual Conference on Institutionalization of Quality Assurance Strategies by IQAC in Higher Education Institutions, IQAC 2022. Now, because of the ongoing pandemic situation, we are connected through a virtual platform. I kindly request all our audience to stand for the Tamil Thai Varthu. Sir, Tamil Thai Varthu.
Madam, please check the time whether Vice Chancellor has not joined here.
Yeah, sir. It's just a dry run, sir.
Okay, but the audience have joined. Please be reminded that one.
Okay, sir. Certainly, sir. Sir, audience join பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்றாரு. சரி. I now welcome our award register to just give us the welcome note.
Welcome, Professor Rajan Velkar, sir. Vice Chancellor, sir. Welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, now it is audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Professor Pankaj Mittal, madam.
Good morning, sir. I want you to know whether I'm audible or not.
You are.
Good morning, madam. Welcome, madam. This
Good
is
morning.
Dr.
Good
Ahmed.
morning.
Madam, kindly switch on your video, madam. Let us have a view.
My video is on only.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
You're not able to see?
Yeah, unfortunately, I could not see, madam. I will check with others.
Still you are not able to see?
Yes, madam. Your name also not visible here.
Name, some other name is coming. I'll just change the name.
Secretary General, madam, your name now appears, madam.
Okay. But you are not able to see me?
Yeah, unfortunately, I could not see, madam.
Sir, a small correction. She is perfectly visible, sir.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Dr. Mrs. Pankaj Mittal is visible and her name is also perfectly right on the screen, ma'am. So you needn't worry. It is there. Everything is fine, ma'am.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's coming, madam. Now, thank you,
Yes,
madam.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable President, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for joining.
Sir, not at all. Thanks for inviting, sir.
No, it is our pleasure, as you are very, very busy person.
Yeah, good morning, Professor.
Morning, Vice Chancellor, sir. Thanks, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, it is a pleasure.
Today.
Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah. Small change in the program.
Okay.
Dr. Pankaj Mittal, she wants to leave earlier for another meeting.
Okay.
So immediately after the welcome address of the registrar,
Yeah.
I am requesting Dr. Pankaj Mittal to deliver the inaugural address.
Okay.
Okay. Because this president will take much time in his address. That's why I'm.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, boy.
A very good morning to one and all. On behalf of the Academy of Maritime Education, deemed you to be university, I'll welcome you all for the National Assessment and Accreditation Council sponsored National Virtual Conference on Institutionalization of Quality Assurance and Strategies of IQAC in Higher Education Institution, IQAC 2022. Since we are in this ongoing pandemic situation, we are connected through our virtual platform. Now, I kindly request our audience to stand in reverence to our Tamil Thai Varthu. Thank you, everyone. Let's be seated. Now, I take great pleasure to greet our revered Registrar of Amit University, Dr. M. Jayaprakash Vail, a doctorate in industrial microbiology from the same university, and his focus of research is from synergetical performing bacterial consortium for sheath blight suppression in rice. His areas of interest include marine microbiology, bioactive secondary biotechs, plant pathology, biopesticides, biofertilizers, inputs for organic agriculture, biocomposing isolation, identification and preservation of microorganisms, especially plant pathogenic bacteria and fungi. Now I take great pleasure in welcoming our registrar to render the welcome address.
Thank you. A very warm good morning to one and all. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagam, also the 100th President of Association of Indian Universities. Respected Professor Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General of Association of Indian Universities. Most respected Professor Rajan Velekar, Vice Chancellor, who is going to deliver the guest of honor address, and Organizing Secretary Dr. D. Arivalagan, Director Ranking Accreditation, Amit University, and participants from various parts of the country, panelists, and esteemed colleagues of this institution, and over gathered here, a very warm good morning to one and all. On behalf of the organizing committee, as well as on behalf of the university, I deem it as a pleasure and privilege to deliver the welcome address for the 2 days national virtual conference on institutionalization of quality assurance strategies by IQAC in higher educational institutions, which is funded by the National Accreditation and Assessment and Accreditation Council and organized by IQAC of Amit. Steering quality education. It is the motto of the university, symbolized through our university logo. The Amit University is the pioneering institution in maritime education, having started in the year 1993 with just 14 cadets, started by a visionary educationist, Dr. J. Ramachandran. It has now emerged as the first deemed to be university in maritime education since 2007, and now leading the maritime education of the country with many laurels and accolades. The leadership of the university, our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. J. Ramachandran, Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Rajesh Ramachandran, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagam, all have laid down the path of quality journey to the university in all the facets of the higher education system. Be it education or research or extension, the university finds its prominence in every action through effective leadership and efficient implementation through the faculty and student participation in all aspects of the university functions. The university is having a rare distinction of having quality certificate for more than 24 years, 8 consecutive times. The ISO standard certification awarded by one of the world leading renowned classification society, DNVGL, which is prominent among certification of maritime institution. With the uncompromising strides of excellence in the maritime education and training laced with its capacity to feed the global shipping industry, Amit has achieved a status of global maritime knowledge hub, which is suitably recognized by both national and international authorities. I would like to very happily share with you that Amit is possibly the one of the rarest institution in the country which has all domains of maritime disciplines in one roof. That means all the departments, all the disciplines pertaining to maritime field are available in our university. The Directorate General of Shipping has rightly identified our strength and has accredited Amit with grade A1 outstanding grade for the past 5 consecutive terms through its comprehensive inspection program. Similarly, the National Assessment and Accreditation Council of India has also accredited Amit with a high grade of A for the second time reassessment. And also the university, more importantly, is ranked one among the top 3 maritime universities of the world by the International Association of Maritime Universities in a ranking called PMET ranking. So these are the some of the important accolades the university has received. Besides, the university has ranked in the NIRF ranking. University has ranked high among the ARIA innovation ranking, and many other laurels the university is getting. On continuation of our various quality success journey, the IQAC of the AMET is organizing this wonderful virtual national level conference on institutionalization of quality assurance strategies by IQAC in higher education institutions. I deem it as a happy and pleasure occasion to invite and welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagam, who will be delivering the President's letters. Welcome you, sir. I welcome wholeheartedly on behalf of the university and management of the university and faculty members, our beloved as well as respected Professor Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General of Association of Indian Universities. Welcome you, madam. Our warm and happy greetings and welcome to our beloved and respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajan Velukar. Welcome you, sir. On behalf of the university, we welcome you, sir, for this important function. I also extend my sincere and warm welcome to all the panelists, resource persons, participants, fellow faculty members of AMET University, deans and directors, HODs, and students who have joined this important event. Welcome you one and all. I take it as a pleasure of inviting everyone who joined in this online platform. Welcome you all for this 2 days national conference. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a real warm welcome address to every one of us. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of the university, I take immense joy to welcome Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General, Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi. Is the second Women's Secretary General of the association in its 96 years of existence. There is such more accolades that I could add to her compliments. Dr. Mrs. Pankaj Mittal is a Fulbright scholar and has been a topper in MSc and PhD Agriculture Statistics from IARI New Delhi. She has a wide range of experience of more than 3 decades in higher education in policy planning and management of higher education. She is also a National Commissioner for Rangers of Bharat Scouts and Guides. Dr. Mittal earlier served as the first regular Vice Chancellor of Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya Kanpur, the first rural women university of North India in 2008. At a young age of 44 years, she has undertaken an onerous task of developing tiny Gurukul into an institution of repute. Dr. Mittal introduced a series of innovative practices and reforms as a Vice Chancellor of only rural residential multi-facility Women's State University of the country, imparting education to 7,000 girls from KG till PhD level in holistic manner. During her stint as Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mittal transformed the Gurukul into university, which is now on the international map. Her contributions in the institution building coupled with blending of traditional and modern education is an exemplary contribution towards the promotion of rural women education in a unique manner. Dr. Mittal has visited any number of countries, and she has ensured that she has her own way and her signature in everything that she has done. Now, on this day, I request Dr. Pankaj Mittal to give us the inaugural address.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Thanks for a very, very generous introduction. Honorable President of AIU and the Vice Chancellor of AMET University, Professor Thiruvasagam, sir. Professor Rajan Velukar, now the VC of Atlas University. Earlier, I think he has been VC of something like 5-6 universities. The Registrar of the University, Dr. M. Jia Prakash Sheval. I don't know whether I'm speaking rightly or not. All the participants to this particular conference. First of all, let me thank AMET University and particularly Professor Thiruvasagam, who is very, very honorable president of AIU, for inviting me for this program. I know, sir, you must have said no one else other than me for this particular conference. And I was just hearing the type of work the MIT is doing and the place it has made in the world of maritime education. And I very often refer to others that this is a university who gives the appointment letter along with the admission letter. So a rare thing which is happening in our universities. Otherwise, most of the universities are struggling for placements. So this type of an honor, very, very rare universities would be having. So the credit goes to the Vice Chancellor of the university and his entire team for this important thing. Now, coming to the theme of the conference, I'm again happy to see that IQAC is vigilant enough to hold a conference on this particular topic at this juncture of time. Why I'm saying that this juncture of time is that we have just recovered from COVID, hopefully. I mean, we are recovering, but hopefully we can say that it is now a post-COVID phase. And second, the NEP came in 2020, which was again a game changer in the field of higher education. And both the things coupled together are sort of presenting a new landscape of higher education in our country, where IQAC has to play a very, very important role. Why? Because most of the things in future, whether it is the autonomy of the university, whether it is the means, for example, online education, distance education, or many, many things are associated with the accreditation status of the university. So if the university is having a good accreditation status, like you already have a A grade, if you're having a A grade, then you will be eligible for so many things. But if you're not, then there'll be a lot of hand holding. There won't be any autonomy with the university, and the universities have to sort of drag on. So it is very important right now that IQACs ensure that the quality is maintained in the universities and the NEP is implemented in the best possible manner, because the government is also very keen that NEP is implemented. So IQAC has a very, very important role, because it is one of the institutions within the institution which does the change management in an organization. And change management is very, very important, because IQAC has to see, because when this NEP is implemented, there will be a lot of changes in the processes, procedures, the way the university is working, the way the faculty is thinking. So all that change management is to be spearheaded by the IQAC. They have to see whether the faculty is trained or not. They have to see whether the university, for example, if we go by NEP recommendations, and if we go one by one, for example, if we talk of institutional restructuring. So when you talk of institutional restructuring, the university has to decide whether the university will be a research university or a teaching university. Means it will give more emphasis to research or to teaching. And for that, again, the university has to see, they have to prepare an IDP. You must have seen that the UGC has recently come out with a draft IDP, that how the institutional development plan is to be made by the university for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So who will be making this IDP? It will be made by the university, but who will be overseeing this? IQAC. IQAC will be having the responsibility that the institution knows its vision and mission and the road ahead for means what they want to do in next 5 years, in next 10 years, in next 15 years, in next 20 years. So therefore, the role of IQAC will be very important in institutional restructuring. You have to decide whether the university will be, I mean, if suppose right now you are a maritime university. So if you have to become a multidisciplinary university, which you have to, if the NEP has to be implemented, then the university has to decide that what all programs it will be starting, and for every, and how will it decide? It will see whether it is relevant to the, say, society around the university, what is the profile of the teachers, what is the profile of the university students, what is the locational profile, where they are located, and what are the programs they are already running, and what type of programs will be relevant to the students who are already studying. Because the very concept of multidisciplinarity is that a student should not be deprived of a particular subject. So if the student takes admission in one university, they should be able to study other subjects also. For example, suppose you are a maritime university, but if you're also running, say, BSc or BCom or BA or management, then although they will be separate programs, but the students from the maritime university, if they want to learn, say, some subject of management or some subject of physics or chemistry or even social sciences or economics or politics or political science, they can learn. So the university has to decide how it will become multidisciplinary, how many programs they want to add, how many faculties they want to add, and for adding those programs, what do they need? Means how many teachers they need, how many equipments they need, how many labs they need, how many books and journals they need, and for that, how much of money is required, and if that money is required, who will be giving that for money? Will it be, means the teachers will be doing some consultancy, or it will be in a self-financing mode through the fee, because MET is not funded by the government, so you cannot look forward to say, I'm not saying you cannot get any grant, but especially this general grant, means grant in aid, which we call, that you won't be able to get. So you have to decide that which programs to add, how to spearhead all this movement. But then IQAC will be having a very, very important role in this. Similarly, when you talk of restructuring of the programs, now again, Maritime is already a four-year or 5-year program, I don't know. But if every program which you are going to run in future has to be a 4-year program, what will be the curriculum for that particular program for every year, if you have to make it multiple entry and multiple exit? For example, Maritime also, if you have to make multiple entry and multiple exit, then how will you do it? What type of a curriculum should be there in each year? And the curriculum should be designed in such a manner that every year is a sort of a capsule in itself, so that a student who goes out after first year gets a certificate, who goes out after second year gets a diploma, third year, maybe in your case, advanced diploma, and after 4 years, a degree. But if we don't redesign the curriculum in a manner so that every year is a comprehensive, complete capsule in itself, then it will be difficult for the students who get, say, diploma or certificates to find a job. So therefore, again, whether it is program restructuring or institutional restructuring, the role of the IQAC is primary. And then again, the NEP says that the gross enrollment ratio should be increased to 50%. And it will not be increased by the government. Every university has to contribute in increasing the gross enrollment ratio. So now if you have, say, X number of seats in your institution, you have to make it 2X. So how will you make it 2X? It can be two ways. Either you increase the intake in the existing programs, or you design new programs. So both ways you have to see how you will expand and how you will also accommodate expansion, because expansion is something which can be created easily, but accommodating expansion means that type of infrastructure has to be created. Will you go in for online programs? Will you go in for distance education programs? Or it will be a combination of them? Then how will you use the technology within the institution? Because again, technology, use of technology, of course, it is indicated in the NEP that it's a very strong recommendation is there, that the technology should be used in the institution for teaching, learning, for examinations, for governance, for everything. But are we using it to that extent? Because before Corona, even the teaching learning was mostly face-to-face, and the blended learning or the flipped classroom model, which is used in the foreign countries, that was not used by most of the universities. So when you have to use the blended mode of learning, when you have to use the flipped classroom model, then the teachers have to be trained in that manner. So the training of teachers is very important. Again, that is the responsibility of the IQAC, that how the teachers design the curriculum in such a way that it is supporting multiple entry. The curriculum is supporting learning outcome-based education, because again, the learning outcome-based education is a new normal, which will be there. Again, the UGC has come out with a National Higher Education Qualification Framework, where they have indicated that for every program, for every year, what will be the learning outcome. So if your students have to be prepared to study in a manner so that the learning outcomes are achieved, then the teachers have to teach. In my opinion, the most important recommendation of the NEP is the way we teach. Because if we alter our way of teaching, if we promote understanding, problem solving, analysis, rationalization, rather than rote learning, half of the problem is solved. So therefore, teachers have to be trained on how to teach, maybe in a flipped classroom model or in a different manner, so that the rote learning is not promoted. But along with the teaching learning, assessment is also very important. Again, the assessment tools we use right now is where we are again testing the rote learning. They mug up something and then they produce something. Like I just hear a story which happened actually with Sabir Bhatia. Sabir Bhatia is the he was the one who invented Hotmail. Earlier Gmail was not there. Hotmail was something which we initially used. So Sabir Bhatia he invented Hotmail. So initially, before inventing Hotmail, he went to USA for studies. And after submitting for a program he was studying, and in that one assignment was given to him. So when he submitted that assignment, he got a big 0 in that assignment. So from his side, he had studied from India. He thought that it is a very good assignment. But then big 0, he thought that these people are prejudiced against Indians. So I should pack my bags and go back to India. But then he thought, okay, let me just go to the teacher and ask him, why did he give me 0? So he went to the professor. He says, sir, this is my assignment and you have given me 0. So he says, yes, I have given you 0. He says, sir, what is the problem? Is the content not right? He says, yes, it is totally right. He says, the grammar is right. English is right. He had even put all those underlining and all very beautifully. He had made the assignment, but still he got 0. He says, yes, everything is there. English is correct. Content is there. Grammar is correct. There is no spelling mistake. Still you have got 0 because whatever you have written, I could have got in any book. What is new in it? Where is your original thinking? So that original thinking is what that professor was looking forward to. But in India, if this assignment was there, that person, I'm sure, would have got 100% marks. Because we are promoting rote learning, that whatever you have learned, okay, just give it and then we will be giving marks. So that method of teaching has to change. And then Sabir Bhatia understood what was the problem. He stayed back and then he excelled so much that he invented Hotmail. So that is the difference. So our teachers have to learn how to sort of convert teaching into learning, that the student has to really understand and then assess accordingly. For example, recently, Delhi University last year, they said we will have open book examinations. So all the teachers made the papers for open book examination and none of them knew how to make the papers for open book examination. And the question papers were almost the same, which they used to make for the general examinations. So the purpose of open book examination was totally defeated. So that means the teachers have to be taught how to even assess the students, not on a basis of a term and examination, and that too given in a manner in which does not promote open book, but it has to be continuous assessment throughout the semester. So if it has to be continuous assessment throughout the semester, what will be the ways? It could be projects, it could be assignments, it could be activities, it could be group discussions, it could be face-to-face interviews, it could be viva. So hundreds of ways are there to assess the student. But who will train the teachers to use all these multiple methods of assessment and evaluation? It is the university, the responsibility of the IQAC, the responsibility of the management of the university. So we cannot be blaming our teachers that they are not teaching in the right way, they are not assessing the students in a right way, because we are not even training. So therefore, it is very important that in this change management, the teachers are trained, because that is the most important capacity building of the teachers in 3 things. One, using the new methods of teaching learning, including technology. Second, how to assess the students, the assessment of students in right manner. Third, how to prepare good online e-content, because now e-content is something which is being asked for, because now the student is not depending upon the knowledge which the teacher is imparting in the class. The students need a lot of knowledge which is also available on the net, free. I mean, just on the click of a button or on the click of the mouse, a lot of information is available. So in the class, you don't have to give information to the students. You have to make him or her understand the concept. So that conceptual knowledge is very, very important. But for that, students, for teaching conceptual knowledge to the students, the concepts of the teacher should be clear first. So that is very important. So what I am trying to say is, IQAC right now, similarly, one more thing which only I will say, when you talk of ABC, Academic Bank of Credit, in which these students can do different courses from different universities, deposit the credits in a bank account, means like a commercial bank account where we deposit money. In this academic bank credit account, we will deposit credits. And when the student is having the threshold number of credits, they are redeemed into a degree. So if this is to be implemented, again, IQAC will have a very important role. That means that in your universities, in addition to the programs, like right now, the admission is given to a full program, BA, BCom, BSc, BTech. But then in addition to the program, admission has to be given in the courses. By courses, I mean, suppose BA has 16 papers, so those are 16 courses. So that means admission has to be given in addition to the programs and the courses also. That means there will be supernumerary seats in those courses where the admission will be given. And the student will be studying those courses, getting the credits, depositing in the credit bank, and eventually get a degree from the university where he has done maximum, say, 50% of the credits. Or maybe in this budget, the digital university is announced, and maybe the digital university will be giving the degree to that student. So many changes are happening. So all this change management has to be done by the IQAC cell, by the universities. I repeat it at many places that 70% of the recommendations of the NEP have to be implemented by the universities, by the leaders, by the teachers. The government is responsible only for 30% of them. So 70% if the universities have to do, then out of that 70%, 70% will be the responsibility of the IQAC. So therefore, IQAC right now has a very, very big responsibility on their shoulders, and they have to deliver. And if the IQAC cell in a particular university is very vigilant, if they know that this change management is their responsibility, then I think that those will be the universities which will be implementing NEP in a very, very professional manner. And again, everybody says that if NEP is implemented in letter and spirit, the day is not far when India will once again become the Vishwa Guru. So that just recognize the importance of IQAC and just understand your power, and you are the change managers of the university, and you can bring out the change. So with that, once again, I'll thank our Honorable President, Professor Thiruvasagam sir, and the university for inviting me here for this address. Thank you very much. Thank you.
With great gratitude, we thank you for your awe-inspiring inaugural speech, madam. What amount of commitment, so omniscient knowledge. It adds great pride and joy to us when you did appreciate our little initiative in terms of IQAC. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, I take great pleasure to welcome our respected Vice Chancellor, the longest serving Vice Chancellor in the country, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagam, who is also the 100th President of Association of Indian Universities. A person of academic and administrative eminence, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagam brings with him his dynamic experience of 5 decades in higher education, his keen sense of justice, and his generous spirit of fraternity, of all which served him well in his career, spanning for the last 34 years as a professor of Commerce and Management and 10 years as principal and as member of the Syndicate of Madurai Kamarajar University, that culminated him into, has been appointed as a Vice Chancellor for 2 successful terms from 2006 to 2012 of 2 eminent state universities in Tamil Nadu, mainly Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore, and the prestigious 167 years old First Port University, the University of Madras. Now, I take great pride in welcoming our respected Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. Thiruvasagam, to render the presidential address to us.
Thank you, Maria, for your brief and flattering introduction.
Welcome, sir.
Honorable Vice Chancellor and a close friend of mine, who is going to deliver the guest of honor address, and who has the experience of serving almost more than 5 universities in India. As I know, Rajan Velukar is the only Vice Chancellor. I had the rare opportunity of serving as a leader of a very renowned 5 universities in India. I'm happy about his presence. I pronounce to you, Dr. Rajan Velukar, and Honorable, beloved and respected Secretary General, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, and who has delivered as a matter of fact, thought-provoking address mentioning about the importance of IQAC. No one can tell like A to Z of IQAC, a role to be played by IQAC. We have been in the field for many decades, but after listening Dr. Pankaj Mittal, now only we come to know where we have to pay much attention and which area we have to pay focus to see that the quality assurance is going to be there in all the education institutions. Madam Pankaj Mittal, he touched upon all the points, whatever the way the IQAC has to play a major role, even training the faculty and thinking about changing the management concept. Moreover, going for ABC, I mean, academic banking credit. Likewise, he has listed out everything as well. Her speech, we can print it and give it to all the institutions who are very much interested to see the effective implementation of NEP 2020 through IQAC as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, for your very interesting, impressive speech.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Respected Dr. Jayaprakash Vel, our registrar, our learned colleagues of the Ahmed University, most importantly, the guest speakers, expert speakers who are going to deliver addresses today and tomorrow as well. And finally, the participants of different institutions of colleges and universities. On behalf of our Chancellor, Dr. J. Ramachandran, members of the management, and on my own behalf, I would like to say good morning to every one of you. And I would like to endorse the welcome given by our registrar, Dr. Jayaprakash Vel. Friends, you can very well wait for Dr. Rajan Velukar's speech. He's a Kandian. His philosophy is totally different. We Vice Chancellors, we talk about quality management, total quality management. We may talk about what is NEP. We may talk about what is curriculum. We may talk about what is teaching, learning and all. We talk whatever we have in our books, in our guidelines of UGC, NAC, etc. But you can very well expect the content of speech of Dr. Rajan Velukar will be on the base of the Kandian philosophy, rural philosophy, and which will be very much expected to the people of the country, especially the largest community of the country as well. So all of you should be here and listen his speech without missing his speech. It is my request to all the participants as well. My dear friends, first of all, I should thank NAC, National Assessment Accreditation Council, for having given support to us and permit us to conduct such invariably a good program, which is going to helpful not only to Ahmed, but also to all other higher education institutions. Moreover, they have extended funding support also to conduct this conclave. So I thank Dr. A.C. Sharma, the director, and other officials of NAC for extending this kind of support to Ahmed. And secondly, I should appreciate and I should compliment our registrar and who was the former coordinator of the IQAC of our university, and Dr. Arivalagan, who is the present IQAC coordinator, and a team of people in the NAC and a team who are involved in the IQAC, who brought out many things to the Ahmed University. Out of their contribution only, we are able to get A grade to the NAC. You know pretty well, we have a lot of limitations, we have a lot of hurdles. In spite of that, being a maritime university able to get A grade, it's a big thing. So I would like to pass on the entire credit to the IQAC team of Ahmed, and of course my faculty members as well. Then come to IQAC. See, the importance of IQAC are mostly realized by all the higher education institutions. But there are certain institutions, after getting the grade from NAC or whatever NIRF, they totally forget about functioning of IQAC and continuing the services through IQAC as well. That is not the way in which you can take quality in higher education also. IQAC is a forum. IQAC, of course, it is being headed by the Vice Chancellor of the university. But IQAC consists of lot of external experts from industries, academic institutions, and sometimes some experts of different research institutions as well. So in a university or in a college, we may have board of management, we may have syndicate, we may have academic council, we may have senate, we may have our own heads of the department meeting. We have our own limitations in discussing things, learning things, and adapting things as well. As correctly observed by Dr. Pankaj Mittal, National Education Policy 2020, it is going to be a treasure as far as our education is concerned. So how we are going to transform the content of National Education Policy into reality, into modifying our syllabus, into revamping our evaluation system, into training our faculty, ultimately taking our education into globalization of education as well. This and all cannot be possible by a vice chancellor who is the leader of the university. It is possible only through a council, through a forum. That forum is nothing but IQAC as well. In my capacity as a principal of a college, almost around more than 1.5 decades ago, I have worked for getting good grade for my college. Those days, it was given as a 5-star, the A grade. After that, I have established the IQAC and left the college and taken the assignment as well. But even after that, my departure, the college is continuously getting the grade of A+ and A++. It is all because of the sincere way of conducting and functioning the IQAC as well. It's the same case with other universities where I have served, and I would like to tell about the present university where I am the vice chancellor as well. Here, after getting the grade, we have not just relaxed. We have not relaxed. We are very much serious about taking forward all the parameters, all the criterions of NAC, and all the various expectations of the NIRM and the NBA as well. These are all we are regularly deliberating, discussing by involving all the stakeholders of the higher education as well. At this juncture, there should be a council to ascertain the views of all the stakeholders. As vice chancellor, I cannot. Certainly, IQAC, it has its own format. So regularly, they get the feedback from stakeholders of alumni, stakeholders of students, parents, employers, and of course, faculty members, present students as well. That's also one of the most important function of the IQAC as well. So as far as I am concerned, IQAC, the prime task of the IQAC is to develop a system and design strategies for conscious, consistent, and catalytic improvement in overall performance of the institution. Okay, this is the major task. The IQAC will make a significant and meaningful contribution in the post-accreditation phase of the institution. That's most important. During the post-accreditation period, IQAC will channelize all efforts and measures of the institution towards promoting its academic excellence. Whatever objective you have in your organization for IQAC, I would like to brief my own objective as far as IQAC is concerned. The main and major objective of IQAC should be to ensure continuous improvement in the entire operations of the institution. Continuity should be there. We should not give any break as far as maintaining, retaining, and improving the quality of the institution. The IQAC, the objective should be to see that there should be continuous improvement. And again, as I said earlier, another objective of IQAC should be to ensure stakeholders connected with the education, namely parent, teachers, staff, employers, funding agencies, society in general of its own quality, etc. And finally, the most important objective of IQAC should be to promote measures for deriving institutional functioning towards enhancement and institutionalization of the best practices. That's also most important. See, whatever best practices you have shown to the previous NAC accreditation, it has to be continued. At the same time, you should not stop identifying new best practices and spread the same in the campus as well. The best practice need not be innovative alone. It should be useful to the community, especially useful to the stakeholders of the higher education as well. If you take IQAC very seriously, definitely IQAC will contribute. Definitely the institution will get benefit like to ensuring heightened level of clarity and focus in institutional functioning towards quality enhancement and internalization of the quality culture, NAC for quality and excellence in higher education. Likewise, we can get the benefit of promoting measures for the functioning of the institution towards quality enhancement through installation of quality culture and installation of best practices. Moreover, the ultimate benefit through IQAC should be to act as a dynamic system for quality changes in the institutions. Okay, fine, sir. We are very much convinced. What is the strategy? What are all the strategies to be adapted by IQAC? Yes, as a team, the IQAC, it is better to frame a strategy. The strategy may be ensuring timely, efficient, and progressive performance of academic, administrative, financial tasks. It should be the very first strategy to be adapted by IQAC. Likewise, the relevance and quality of academic and research programs. Moreover, the equitable access to the affordability of academic programs for various academic society. So these are all the major benefits we can get it. We may talk about access. We may talk about equivalence. We may talk about no discrimination between the people of the community as well. But IQAC alone can bring everything together to see that accessibility and equity is ensured in our institution. Likewise, that kind of benefit we can get it. My dear friends, there are many strategies, and I don't want to take all the strategies in my speech, but only one I would like to give my focus. That is nothing but internalization of education, higher education, or internalization of program of a university. I would like to focus on it. See, I had the opportunity of serving as a president of IQAC. Likewise, I have visited many institutions as the chairman of NAC. Invariably, in all the institutions I have visited, and sometimes the institutions of rural or institution of city or multi-disciplinary universities, they are really good on all the aspects. But most of the institutions, they are very, very weak in the area of internalization of higher education. I cannot blame them. They don't have much knowledge, idea about how they can take their programs of academic and research to a global level and go for a collaboration and enrich the research jointly. They don't have much idea, number one. If at all they have an idea, they don't have sufficient support, not only from the institution, but also from the apex bodies like UGC, NAC, and NIRF as well. Universities are interested to go for a internalization of education because it's a compulsory. You know pretty well, now there are a few universities, now they find a place in global ranking. In the global ranking parameters, it is my understanding that almost 35% of marks is being given to the success of the education institutions in internalization of education. How far the institution is successful in engaging foreign faculty, international faculty from other universities, engaging foreign faculty. What do you mean? You have to invite the foreign faculty and you have to involve them at least in virtually. And how many of your faculty gone outside your university and went to some other foreign university? And how many programs you have tied up with the foreign universities under the name of twinning program or a joint program or one semester abroad or one month abroad? And how many of your joint research are very much appreciable with the highest impact factor? And how many universities are there in your campus, foreign universities at their campus? So all these things, they keep it in mind and give you marks. That comes about 35% in the global ranking. And when it comes to NAC and NIF ranking also, certain sizable percentage of marks is being awarded for your success rate in internalization of your programs. Are you able to successful? It is very, very, very difficult to be successful. And as I mentioned, there are 35 institutions have featured in the global ranking, and 63 institutions are taking part every year. But as far as the ranking is concerned, it is very, very poor. In modern times, my dear friends, globalization has been one of the most transformative forces. It has altered every conceivable aspect of our lives, including higher education. Accelerated rate of globalization in 1980s has brought back the focus on internalization of higher education in a broader way. Internalization of higher education is responsible to globalization in order to raise the quality of education to catch up to the global standards with the alignment of curriculum and instill type of skill improve productivity in a globalized competitive economy. My dear friends, all universities, they started working on this, but we are successful only one ground. What is ground? Sending our students abroad, somewhat we are successful. Yes, as per the latest statistics, in December 2020, we have sent out more than 10 lakh students who are studying abroad as per IQAC statistics of 2021. But at the time of comparing, number of students came to India to have their program of diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate, very, very minimum of only 49,348. Now it's a time to think about it. Why foreign students are not interested to come to India? Why foreign universities are not very much interested to come to India for collaboration? That and all we have to think, for which we need many aspects, many credentials. The IQAC has to think about that. Number one, every institution should have a cell exclusive for international students or international programs. The cell should function with the support of, able support of alumni of the organizations as well. Moreover, when we think about inviting students, our infrastructure should be as suitable to the foreign students. Again, when you design a program, it should not be just for the sake of satisfying the Indian students of offering local courses of any engineering, arts and science. Our courses should be unique. It must be able to tell about the culture of India, just like yoga, Indian culture, Indian history, and something else as well. Then only the students who are searching for understanding about even Hinduism, the students are interested to learn about Hinduism. Suppose you don't have provision to teach Hinduism, if you don't have provision to establish a chair for Hinduism, no one will show interest to come to India as well. Likewise, we must have a faculty, and the faculty quality should be internationally standard like that. Likewise, the IQAC think about increasing the infrastructure, enhancing the quality of the faculty, and as far as possible, strengthening the alumni, international alumni. We have our own alumni throughout the world. We must have a regular touch with them and see that they will be helping our own institution for creating new courses or organizing placement for our student and going for joint programs as well. Before concluding my speech, I would like to register my concern towards the constraints what our Indian universities are facing as far as taking higher education globally. Number one, we have been talking about joint degree, offering joint degree. Joint degree in the sense, a student who can undergo 2 years here and the rest of the 2 years he can be in another university of Western countries or any other countries. Okay. Now UGC comes out with a condition that the universities can offer tuning program. Tuning program in the sense, a 4-year degree means 3 years they can be in India, 1 year they can go abroad of any universities. But it is possible only to carry forward the credit of the foreign universities to the home university, and the degree can be given only by the host university, home university only. Which student will come forward? Just getting a provisional mark sheet and going to put it in as in the one of the mark sheets and giving degree of India, who will prepare to spend the money for 1 year spending in USA or UK and come back to India and say that I have studied in abroad as well? To overcome this only, we are proposing a joint degree, that when student is going to outside the country, taking in University of Washington for 1 year or 2 years, when he come back, both the universities, Ahmed University and University of Washington, should be allowed to give joint degree. Then only the student who are undergoing a PhD or any other degree will have the benefit of saying that I have the degree of United States of America. And when you go for a further research, when you go for a employment, it will be very much advantageous to him as well. Hopefully, Association of Indian University, with the support of my colleague, who is the very most senior member of the Governing Council, who is likely to become the president of Association of Indian University in the near future, we will take this issue to the University Grants Commission and the concerned bodies. Such a kind of encouragement also should come from the apex bodies to see that internationalization of higher education in India will have a very big height by which our students can claim and say that the quality wise, definitely the India is good, Indian higher education is good, and very confident the listeners and the participating colleges and the professors will show much interest in working the development of the IQAC and take things appropriately to a greater level. With these words of observation, I'm happy about the organizers. Of course, it has been organized virtually as well. So finally, I would like to just my appreciation to Registrar and to IQAC team for having organized the program in a fittest manner. Wish you all best of luck. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir, for your benevolent and profound presidential address. Certainly, sir, it is, I rightly called you benevolent is because a great man to share his glory and share his success is only you, sir. You are a role model to us, sir. Thank you very much again for your presidential address, sir. Now, it's a great honor to welcome our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Rajan Kelkar, Vice Chancellor of Oro University, Surat, Gujarat from 2020 onwards, currently is Vice Chancellor of Atlas Skill Tech University, Mumbai. He is an eminent academician, former Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Yashwant Chauhan, Maharashtra Open University, and Raiscorny University. He has compiled and edited World's Most Impactful Gandhi at 150 explores the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi's ideas today to the world spectrum across many areas in the field of religion, economics, science, education, and arts, health, and development. He is a director of Institute of Management Studies, heading research and entrepreneurship education. To add to his cap, he has visited n number of countries. Now it is a great pleasure for me to invite our Rajan Kelkar to give us, as the guest of honor, to give us the keynote.
Yeah. Am I audible?
You are, sir. Perfectly audible, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
The Honorable Vice Chancellor of Ahmed University and the one of the dynamic president of Association of Indian Universities, which I had seen over a period of last 25 years. Colonel Dr. Thiruva Sagam, the Honorable Secretary General Dr. Pankaj Mittal, and the Honorable Registrar of Ahmed University, Dr. Jay Prakash Well. I am happy to be amongst all of you. And at the same time, I thank the Honorable President, Association of Indian University, and the Vice Chancellor of Ahmed University for giving me an opportunity to meet all of you here. I compliment the Ahmed University for organizing this program, which is very, very essential, when the national education policy has come in 2020 and everyone is talking about implementation of this policy. And therefore, this program is very, very important, and therefore we need to understand the quality. Of course, quality is a process. Both the Secretary General and the President Association of Indian Industries have narrated the quality culture, how this quality culture has to be built, and how this quality culture has to be brought into each of the institutions in this country, and what needs to be done. I'm not going to speak something different, but I was writing down when both of them were speaking. So what I am going to do is I am just going to re-emphasize whatever they have done or whatever they have said in my speech. And as I am trying to follow Gandhi, if we can read Gandhi, we can understand how do we create a culture of quality. I was writing when the Honorable President and the Vice Chancellor of Ahmed University was introducing me as a Gandhian. I am still trying to follow him and learning. So I just jot down, even if we just follow that, IQAC job is done. What is that? So I was writing, the first thing which Gandhi did is he brought self-discipline in him. The most important thing in quality process. The second thing which he did is experimentation. If you read his entire life, even while eating the food, throughout his life, he has done experimentation, and on the basis of evidences, he has arrived at some decision and made his timetable. And therefore, you will see that even at the age of 75 or 79, the way he was walking, we cannot even walk today. The young 30, 35-year-old child or a young person cannot walk. And that is because of the experimentation and the evidences and living the life on that basis. That is what I am going to talk on this quality. The third thing which he did is, which today we are talking about, systems thinking. The ashrams or the ashram vyavastha which he has created is based on systems thinking. Now we read the books. The first book came of fifth discipline in 1989. And then we started talking about systems thinking. So IQAC's role, the main role is to create the systems, to bring the systems thinking into the university or the higher education institution. So we can learn. So even if when he was not in the ashram was in an automation mode. So bringing any organization in an automation mode is nothing but bringing a systems thinking, bringing systems. That is what the role of IQAC. How do you bring that? How do you bring the systems thinking into the organization? The fourth thing is inclusive. That inclusiveness, as you Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the most respected, he has mentioned about why can't we launch a program in Hinduism? That is nothing but inclusion. Similarly, why can't we teach Quran to the non-Muslims? This is nothing but inclusion. That is what the Gandhi talked about. And that is what the new education policy is also talking about. And therefore, the role of IQAC is, after COVID and post-COVID, has increased. It is an opportunity as well as the challenges. to the IQAC. And when you get the challenges, then only you can enjoy. If you don't have the challenges, then it's anybody can do it. Else, why educated academicians will do it? You are different than others because you are educated, you are academicians. You are supposed to have better knowledge. You are supposed to have solutions. You are supposed to provide solutions to the problems which the society is facing. And therefore, what both of them have said is relevant. Then the next thing is trusteeship. We need to learn in our college. The moment we learn the trusteeship, the honesty will come in projecting whatever we are doing. Otherwise, nowadays, many institutions I have seen, they are projecting a wrong data and getting a better grade. But are their students really getting what they should get? Is a big question. And therefore, trusteeship, which Gandhi said, we need to bring into this. And the last thing is betterment. And now I come back to our topic of the IQAC, strategizing the IQAC, and how do we institutionalize of quality assurance strategies by IQAC. Now, what is IQAC and what is the role of IQAC? I tell you, after 5 years, the NAC peer team comes and give you the grade. That is a movie, final movie. But in a movie, the director and his team, they work for so long and then they make the movie. And finally, the movie is made in which hero and heroine. So hero and heroine after 5 years is somebody else. But in real sense, the IQAC make it successful. And therefore, the IQAC's role is the most important in any organization. Like when they make a movie, the director and his team, the cameraman, the story writer, and everybody, that is most important from my perspective. And not the hero and heroines and villains. Yeah, there is a villain also when we go to accreditation in every institution. They write to us. But basically, what are the questions which we have before us, before the students and their parents? The first question is, what is the best possible education? Second is, what is a quality institution? Third is, what is the effective institution? Fourth is, how can the universities or the higher education institutions ensure that their students are receiving the best possible education? Don't do accreditation because NAC is saying or UGC is saying. Do it for yourself, not for NAC, not for anybody else. But you want to achieve quality and therefore you try and do better and better things. Next question is, how can the higher education institutions demonstrate their quality and effectiveness to accreditators, the government policymakers, students, parents, and others? And in today's perspective, the industries, because they are providing the employment. These are the basic questions around which the quality is talked about. And therefore, these are the basic questions which we should address. But we should address this very, very systematically. I'm not going to talk, I'm just talking beyond NAC or beyond any accreditation or beyond any ranking framework. So why higher education is under fire across the globe? I'm not talking about India, but across the globe. We need to understand. The most important thing is accountability. We all are talking about accreditation, but we are talking less about accountability. The moment accountability comes, everything we will achieve. The first thing is accountability. Second thing is, across the globe, every day some new report will come on higher education or education, or a statement on perceived shortcomings of higher education. Perceived shortcomings every day, newspaper or UN or governments or parents or industries talking about shortcomings. The third thing is accreditation processes have become the after effects. You know, that is summative. They are coming after 5 years and then telling you have got a C grade, you have got a B grade, or you have got a A grade. But that is the after effect. I should improve to the fullest of my potential. But I have not been told every day or every year. If I have been told my potential, like Prabhu Rama told Hanumana that you can fly, and then he realized, otherwise his flying would have been much, much better than what he would have done. If every day that reflection was there, and that reflection is missing somewhere in higher education, even while assessing the higher education institution, assessing the teacher and assessing the students, because we are not empowering each and every stakeholder to take the decision of their life. Even in assessment, students' assessment, we are not empowering them to take the charge of their learning. We are deciding how much he or she has learned. The moment he or she decides that what is my learning, things will change. And then, therefore, the role of IQAC in strategizing how do we bring these things into the culture. And therefore, I am going to speak on the how do we create a culture of quality. The moment you create a culture of quality, even if the accrediting agency doesn't come, there is a culture, and culture matters. Say Tamil Nadu, you are in Tamil Nadu, and in Tamil Nadu, see how they have preserved the culture. I always say in Maharashtra, see how they have preserved the culture, and therefore they are reaping several benefits. And therefore, the moment you create a culture of quality, you will achieve everything. You don't need a stamp from anybody else. Because every day when you see a mirror, you will see your face and you will see, oh, how beautiful my face is. And therefore, creating a culture is very, very important. And therefore, three things which is most important. One is economic development. So many students are studying, getting degrees, higher degrees. But is there an economic development? Are we able to map the education of these young people and the economic development? Or we are not mapping that? We are missing. The policymakers are also missing, and we are also, academicians are missing. They are also not talking about that, and we are also not talking about that. We are only talking about getting a degree and a post-graduation and a PhD and nothing else. But how he or she is going to contribute into the economic development, we are not measured. We should measure. In the last century, see, when the computer came, globalization came in this country in 1991, see what kind of economic development because of the IT sector we have brought to this country. What kind of economic development the entertainment industry have brought to this country. Just that is the mapping. And how do we map that? That is what the most important thing is. And students are worried about return on investment. We also should be worried about return on investment for our education institutions. Not only the students. We are investing. What is the return we are getting out of that? And crores of rupees. Say 1,34,000 crores of rupees in the budget. Now we should measure the return on investment. The third thing is the changing university student. Changing university student. Now I talk of 5 dimensions quickly. Now what are these 5 dimensions? One is relevance. Dr. Pankaj Mittal and the Honorable President also talked about. One is relevance, is the first dimension. Second is the community. We are a community of academicians, community of students, community of their parents, community of industries, and community of policymakers. That is the second dimension. The third dimension is focus and aspiration. We need to bring ourselves to focus. We should have aspiration. Not only student, we also must have aspiration. The IQAC will have to define what their aspiration is every time, and then relook and review that aspiration, and then focus. The fourth dimension is evidence, which is missing in our higher education institution. We take decisions on the basis of perception. We have to take the decision on the basis of evidence, and then our success rate, as China did. US already had done, the Europe has done, but we have failed to take decisions on the basis of evidence. We are in a world where data is a king. We are not using, even in the universities, we are not going at the micro level to assess and analyze the data and create an evidence and take the decision on the basis of that. And the fifth dimension is betterment. These are the 5 dimensions of quality which the IQAC will have to take into consideration while strategizing and institutionalizing the quality culture. Now, in the first dimension, what is important? I will just quickly, in 4 minutes, if the Honorable President permits, because this takes a lot of time, but then if you allow me 3 to 4 minutes, then I can just quickly tell in each dimension what is important and how do you take that while strategizing your IQAC role. The first dimension is creating a culture of relevance. In that, the first thing is integrity. Doing the right thing. Now, what are the points which you should take into consideration while strategizing? First is meet your responsibilities. So understand what your responsibilities are. Go on a whiteboard and write down your responsibilities. 2 is put your students first. We are talking about student-centric. The third is keep your promises. Whatever you are promising, try and achieve those promises. But we have to write all this on a whiteboard and then convert it into a documentation so that it is easier to measure. The fourth is serve for public good. Whatever you are doing, it has to be for public good. All the time, these things should be there in your mind. So while planning, while strategizing, these are the points which you should consider. The fifth is meet the needs of the stakeholders. While educating our students, we should prepare them for future. We should help them to find the purpose of their life. If we are unable to find the purpose of their life, then we have not done anything, even if they get grade 9 or grade 10. Doesn't matter. If he or she has not able to find the purpose of his or her life, we have not done our job. The second in relevance is stewardship, ensuring and deploying resources responsibly. Number 1, in this, recognize that people and their time are your greatest resources. See, we are getting 1,000 students. We are getting so many teachers. They are our greatest resources. And they are giving us the time for 3 years or 4 years. Very, very important. How do you use that resources optimally? That is what the IQAC has to plan in the strategy and create a business plan. Then deploy these resources very, very efficiently. The second is creating a culture of community. That is what new education policy is also talking about. Now, what do you mean by this? A community of people. We are a community of people. We need to create a culture of respect. How do you create a culture of respect? And there is a training for this. So all teachers and non-teaching staff needs to give a training. How do you create a culture of respect? Otherwise, in a committee meeting, if somebody says, no, I don't go with this idea, but the committee takes a decision, but that particular person or persons, even after going out, they will say, no, I don't buy that idea. No, that is not respecting. Democratically, if a committee is taking a decision, then it is also your decision. You might have your opinion, but we also need to respect the opinion of others. That is what we talk of democratization, and that is what the democracy is. Second is a culture of communication. We, as Indian, we are very poor in communication. We teach communication skills, but still we are poor in communication. So the communication we need to improve, and IQAC's role is how do we improve this communication? How do you train them? IQAC's job is not organizing programs. IQAC's job is to strategize and get the work done from everybody. Tell them their roles, create SOPs. That is IQAC role. Then a culture of collaboration, not collaboration between institution to institution, collaboration within the university, within the departments, collaboration with the students also. So that is the creation of culture. Say 3 teachers are going in a classroom and teaching a course simultaneously is a collaboration. A psychology teacher, a finance teacher, a physics teacher going in a class and teaching a class. That is what the multidisciplinarity is. They are bringing the perspective from different disciplines. That is collaboration. How do you create that? How do you measure that? Then a culture of growth and development. Always one has to keep this in mind. How do we grow and how do we develop? And then next is a culture of democratization, which I already talked. The second point in culture of community is leadership. Capacity, leadership capacity and commitment. A teacher is also a leader in the classroom because students are going to follow him. And therefore, it is not only the head of the department or head of the skill or the vice chancellor or the registrar. Every individual is a leader because somebody or the other is going to follow him. And therefore, the first thing under this is capacity and commitment. How do you develop this capacity and commitment? And therefore, the training program comes. How do you empower the leadership? How do you empower a teacher going into classroom? How do you empower the head of the department, the head of the school, or whoever is heading that particular thing? Collaborative leadership. You should be able to lead in a collaboration environment. Then the board engagement. How do you engage your board? Then ongoing education. That is called as lifelong learning. And lifelong learning is for everybody. We don't want learned people. We don't want learned people in today's world. We want learning people. They are learning throughout their life. As I always say, I am learning. I am a learner. And I am learning in this program. The fourth is culture of focus and aspiration. Third dimension. And again, there are so many things here because of the paucity of time. I am not going into the details. But again, in this also, why should anyone enroll and invest in your institution? That is the biggest question which we should ask. And accordingly, strategy. Rationals for your decision all the time. There has to be some rationale. What do you aim to serve? Why? What are you aiming to serve to people? All these questions which you can ask in focus and aspiration. The next dimension, which is very, very important, is a culture of evidence. I'm just giving an example. You are giving 3 marks out of 5 to a student. But we don't tell where those 2 marks have gone. We are not creating evidence. Some student gets, all the students get very less marks, only 20% marks in some question. But we don't do analysis. We don't do discrimination analysis. We don't do a solvability index. We don't calculate all these things. Only few institutions in this country. But if you don't do analysis of item analysis, I'm just giving an example, which is true in everywhere. You have to create the evidence and then give training, give opportunity for improvement. Reflect on that. And the moment every stakeholder start reflecting, your institution will be different. And that is the systemic thinking which every institution can bring into the higher education institution. And therefore, you have to gauge the success. You have to gauge the learning. Success of an institution, success of students, success of the stakeholders. Because parents also are having some expectations from the institutions, whether we are fulfilling that or not. And therefore, culture of evidence is very, very important. There are many points in this which we need to think about. And of course, the last is dimension, which is a culture of betterment. So whatever evidences which you have created or collected, you have to use those evidences for advancement, for betterment. And then you don't have to worry about the accreditor. You don't have to worry about the ranking agencies. Once you are satisfied with what you're doing. And once you means not the mind, but the heart. Because your heart speaks something else and your mind speaks something else. If you can satisfy your conscience, nobody can stop you from achieving equality and sustaining equality. If you integrate all these 5 dimensions and strategize, nobody can stop you from advancing and nobody can stop you from achieving equality. That is what I feel. And therefore, you strategize your quality processes from these 5 dimensions. And the moment you strategize from these 5 dimensions, I'm sure you will achieve the most. I think this is what I just wanted to communicate to you. And I just wanted to communicate to you how you need to systematize. The moment you systematize anything, 50% of your work is done. And therefore, bring a process on the basis of systems thinking and design thinking. In design thinking, the first principle is empathy. Empathy towards your customer. The 2 things can change your institute. That is what I just wanted to communicate. Sorry, I have taken a little more time, but to achieve quality, it takes time. And speaking on quality will always take little more time. So I must thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor and my senior colleague come friend and the President of Association of Indian Universities for giving me an opportunity. So it is an opportunity for me to be amongst all of you. So, and the organizers, thank you very much. And at the same time, I thank all the participants for listening to me or hearing to me, whatever you have done. There is a difference between the 2. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I think the word thank you is very less. It was a breathtaking, devoted, patient keynote, sir. You did turn a lot of us caterpillars into butterflies when you told us that we teachers need to be empowered. Thank you very much for patting us and telling us that we as a state, we are conserving our culture. Thank you so much for it, sir. And moreover, something that I really want to mention is heart or mind. You told us, listen to your conscience. When your conscience gives you the quality, there comes quality. You played Gandhi to us, sir. Thank you very much for all that you told us, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Now I take pleasure to welcome our respected Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagam, to unveil the digital proceedings.
You carry on, please. I'm happy to unveil it, please. ಒಳ್ಳೆ
Thank you very much for unveiling the proceedings, sir.
Okay.
Now I invite Dr. Arivarakan to propose the vote of thanks for the inaugural function.
Arivalagan, you can be very, very brief. Other two people are they're waiting. They have to go for their own commitment, next commitment. And let it be a very informal. Okay, finish it within 2 minutes. Because
Respected.
both the speakers are very, very important. They have their own commitment immediately after this.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, respected Secretary General of AIU, Dr. Pingaj Metal, most respected Vice Chancellor of Atlas Skill Tech University, Mumbai, Dr. Rajan Valkar, sir. Good morning to one and all. On behalf of the university and IQAC, I take the pleasure of delivering vote of thanks. On this day, 28 years ago, that is on 15th of February 1993, our Chancellor founded AMET. We are today entering into 29th year of quality maritime education in India. With this cherishing memory, I would like to thank the dignitaries and who have graced this occasion by their valuable presence and short scholarly delegation. I would like to convey my sincere thanks once again to all. Dr. Pangaj Mittal has emphasized on changes management and role of IQAC in quality enhancement and also the concept of national educational policy. Our Vice Chancellor has elaborated on immense need of internalization and challenges on higher education systems in India. Professor Rajan Valkar has insisted the importance of imbibing Gandhian philosophy in modern day quality sustains in higher education institutions. His listing of quality attributes of higher education institutes are really deeply provoking. His mention of culture of quality has a great value. Once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. May I leave now?
Yes, sir. You are a very, very busy person. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining. And really, we enjoyed and given the basic concept of IQAC, and all the participants will be carrying your messages and for the implementation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now we start with our technical sessions.
We have just begun the technical session. It's time for me to now invite our respectful Dr. B.
Little
Thimbay
louder,
Gauja.
Maria. Little louder. Little louder.
Yes,
Please.
sir. Thimbay Gauja, Vice Chairman, Karnataka State Higher Education Council, Government of Karnataka, Bangalore. Thimbay Gauja, Professor of Chemistry, Mangalore University, has been appointed as the 16th Vice Chancellor of the recently divided university. Gauda was among the eminent scholars in the state and deserved the position. As a new Vice Chancellor, it was his duty and responsibility to set a lot of things in place. So now I invite Dr. B. Thimbay Gauda to give us the role of leadership and management in higher education. Sir, we invite you.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Please.
Sir, please unmute, sir. Please unmute your mic, sir. Please, sir.
Namaste. Am I audible, sir?
Sir, you are audible to us, sir.
Yeah.
Loud and clear to us, sir.
And also, do you allow me to share the screen?
Yes, sir, you can.
Admin, please extend the host permission to sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
sir, it is
good
given,
morning.
sir.
Namaste. I'm extremely happy to be part of your national level virtual conference on institutionalization of quality assurance strategies by IQAC in higher education institutions. It has come at the right time. First of all, let me thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Amet University and the President of Association of Indian Universities, Dr. G. Thiruvasagam, for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts. And also, I also respect the august presence of Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General, Association of Indian Universities. I missed first two lectures, but subsequently I joined almost in the beginning of the lecture of Professor Rajan Velukar, Vice Chancellor, Atlas Skill Tech University, Mumbai. I really enjoyed it. It was a learning session for all of us. And it was a great opportunity for me. And Dr. M. Jaiprakash Vel, Registrar, Amet University. And we have with us the Director of IQAC, other distinguished speakers, the members of the Board of Trustee and the Executive Council and the IQAC Board, and the faculty, the deans of faculties and heads of departments, and my dear faculty and my dear participants. I will not go into the details of actual details of IQAC. I would be covering only those aspects where this IQAC is used, and my topic given to me is the role of leadership and management in higher education. Before that, let me summarize. May I know what is the time given to me? Hello.
We can just there's one more professor is waiting. No issue at all. Can you make it 20 minutes, professor?
20 minutes or 1 hour? Okay. It's 20 minutes, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry for the constraint. Please.
Yeah. No problem at all. No problem at all. You know what is the highlights of national higher education policy? NEP 2020. It highlights. It covers various aspects of education. The main aspiration of NEP, as you all know, it wants to bring in transformational changes in all aspects of education. That is where the IQAC can play an important role. The first, it talks about the quality universities and colleges. And as you know, as you are well aware of it, the present higher educational institutions are going to be restructured into three categories of institutions, as you all know: research-intensive universities, and teaching-intensive universities, and degree-granting autonomous colleges. Whereas in the first case, the research-intensive universities give equal emphasis on research and teaching, whereas the teaching-intensive universities, their emphasis will be on teaching, but at the same time, they conduct significant research. Whereas the third category of degree-granting autonomous colleges, they are like many universities. They will have all the powers of the universities, but they are smaller in size, but they have to concentrate on undergraduate education, although they are not prevented from conducting postgraduate research and teaching. But here we have at present all sorts of institutions, institution of national importance, state importance, deemed to be universities, private universities, public universities, autonomous colleges, permanently affiliated colleges, and temporarily affiliated colleges, all these things. Therefore, all these three all these institutions have to get transformed into only 3 categories of institutions. This has to be done in the next 15 years. How it has to be done? First of all, higher education, as you all know, is fragmented. Therefore, it has to move towards the multidisciplinarity. Therefore, our institutions have to become multidisciplinary so that we can conduct meaningful, relevant, interdisciplinary education. The next thing to become at least degree granting institutions. What is the next step? As per NEP requirement, they have to achieve at least a student strength of 3,000. Once they achieve that strength, what is the next step? Then again, the accreditation process comes into picture, and there will be quality in teaching and quality in research and other things they have to achieve, so that there will be benchmarking to upgrade these institutions, graded accreditation. Based on these things, institutions will be upgraded into at least degree granting autonomous colleges. This barrier is not rigid. They can move from one category to the other categories. Therefore, all these things, as you all know, will be done at the national level through Higher Education Commission of India. It will have 4 articles, as you know: National Higher Education Regulatory Council, Higher Education Grants Council, National Accreditation Council, and GEC, General Education Council, wherein we'll have all the standard setting bodies. They will set the benchmark. They will set what are the requirements to be fulfilled to get the branding up, label up either the RIU or TIU or degree granting autonomous colleges. Therefore, we have to move towards that direction. That is where this IQAC can play a very important role. The documentation level, we used to concentrate on our accreditation part and also the teacher quality and the promotional aspects and other things. IQAC is to take care of it. Now it has to play a dominant and important role. That is where in institutional restructuring and consolidation, it can play a major role. Therefore, then what is towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education. Therefore, when it happens, then we have to have a degree. Now, what is the type of education you have at present? It's a rigid combination. We don't have the flexibility. The advantage of NEP is we can have a flexibility, and therefore it will be governed by National Higher Education Qualification Framework. Then you have academic bank of credits, you have blended learning. All these things you have to take care of it. You have to take care of it. Therefore, the students who enters the program, an undergraduate program, may start with the idea of getting a degree in a particular subject, but eventually, by the time he reaches the final year or third year, he may change his or her mind to get the degree in another specialization. Therefore, there will be requirements to get a degree in a particular specialization. There may be slight variation in branding, labeling it as with some other specialization. That flexibility the student would enjoy because it is student-centric. Therefore, we have to take care of all these things. Although we have academic bank of credits to take care of it, and there may be corresponding unit in the university, IQAC can play a very important role. And again, the student can go in blended mode even with the off-campus courses. But in addition to that, he can take courses up to about 40% in other modes of education. And in addition to that, for want of time, let me not go into the details of these things. Optimal learning environments and support for students, that is where we have to monitor all these things, make sure these things are done. And then again, the motivated, energized, and capable faculty, and therefore equity and inclusion in education. The previous speakers talked about in greater detail about these aspects. And again, affordable and quality education for all. And the another important aspect of NEP is we have to integrate vocational education into general education. The main aspect, the main aspiration of NEP is we have to produce the well-rounded, employable graduates and good entrepreneurs. In that direction, we have to move towards it. How to integrate vocational education into general education. And again, one has to integrate teacher education into general education. Therefore, the teacher education in the under NEP would be, it's a dual major. Therefore, one can start with a disciplinary subject and teacher education, continue and decide towards the end of the 4 years undergraduate program whether to get a degree in undergraduate in teacher education or in a discipline. How about if the candidate puts in an extra year, can he get a degree in both the discipline and teacher education? All these things are to be planned and we have to keep track of all these aspects. And again, there won't be much difference between, there will be integration of professional education and general education. For example, I am thinking of a situation, a candidate should have an option to take 2 majors, such as maybe teacher education and a discipline, maybe an engineering subject and a management, go together concurrently. You can only prescribe what would be the credit requirements, what would be the academic program structure to get a degree. That is what NHEQ prescribes. Other things, it is up to the candidate. Therefore, you can start with a management subject and an engineering subject, fulfill all the requirements, go through it, and eventually the candidate may get the degree either in management or in engineering subject, or he may, if he puts in additional here, he or she should be in a position to get the degree in both the engineering as well as the management subject. Therefore, dual degree can get it. Therefore, for all these things, there will be credit requirements to get a particular degree. There will be what are the components of that particular program would be known. Therefore, the IQAC, it has to keep track of it and refine it, revise it, improve it qualitatively. All these things, it has to shoulder the responsibility. And there again, there should be transforming the regulatory system of higher education. For example, now you know UGC, AICT, NCT, all these 3 are going to be merged into Higher Education Commission of India. Then what will happen at the state level? The state level, State Higher Education Council should also be restructured to have similar bodies, similar to online with the national bodies. That is what even the Karnataka also we are planning to have restructure the Higher Education Council. We will have the regulatory party, a regulator part, and also you have the granting part, and we will also have research and innovation, so that we have to emphasize on research part. Either two, we were struggling to give even a project for a postgraduate students, whereas in the present system and a new system, there should be a strong component of the research even at the undergraduate program. Therefore, the 4 years undergraduate degree holders with a strong research component are eligible to get into the PhD program. Therefore, there's a culture of research has to be built up. That is where we can play an important role. In addition to that, all the present universities, the regulations part, the governance part, it has to go a transformational change. Therefore, here we have different system. In private universities and institutions, we have board of governors, board of management, academic council, or academic senate, etc. Now, the UGC NEP emphasizes there should be a board of governors. The board of governors, it should consist of an expert. I would give a little more details about it a little later, and the governance, what it should be, and adult education, lifelong learning. And also there should be Indian educational part, and therefore one has to concentrate on those aspects also, promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture. And there should be integration of technology into higher education. Without it, it is very difficult to manage these aspects. Therefore, why all these things? That is because the world is undergoing rapid changes in knowledge landscape. Therefore, we have to change, we have to incorporate all these things so that in our graduates, we have to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions. And then in order to do it, we have to keep track of all these things. Why we are doing all these things? It is to bridge the gap between the current state of learning outcome and what is required in the 21st century must be bridged through undertaking major reforms. Therefore, you know the graduate attributes, learner outcome-based education. This was there formally in engineering education based on Washington Accord. Similarly, in a technical diploma education, there used to be some sort of Sydney Accord. Whereas, although we used to follow this in general education, it was not institutionalized. Therefore, that is going to be there under NNP, even under general education, the graduate attributes part. Therefore, what is that? Higher education landscape is shifting towards the role of higher education institutions in producing employable graduates to feed national prosperity in the emerging knowledge economy. There is need to consider how to enhance generic graduate capabilities and the disciplinary expertise of our undergraduate students. Therefore, the conscious decisions are to be made about the curriculum content and co-curricular activities, pedagogies, nature, and use of learning spaces. There will be transformational changes in all these aspects. This is where IQAC can catalyze the whole activities. That is because our graduates should possess the knowledge, skills, and values to enable them to cope with dynamic employment opportunities. Therefore, they must know the pros and cons of all these things. What are the attributes we expect from the graduates, from our graduates? Critical thinking skills. For want of time, let me not go into the details of all these things. There should be personal attributes, personal values. Therefore, we have to embed all these things, graduate attributes, within curricula. Therefore, this depends on our academic staff, their capability. That is where IQAC can play an important role in training them, empowering them. Therefore, then there is a need to move from teacher-focused to learner-focused activities, that is from passive to participatory pedagogies. Therefore, we have to have imaginative, flexible curricular structure, and therefore we have to integrate arts with STEM, because the NEP 2020 aims to integrate art stream with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Why we do that? Such a practice would increase the creativity and innovation, problem-solving abilities, higher order thinking skills, communication skills, teamwork, social and moral awareness, in-depth learning, flexible and innovative curricula shall include all these things. This is where you can play an important role. As you know, we have the option of having 3 years degree and 4 years degree with multiple exit options, etc. Since you are aware of it, let me not go into the details. And we'll have 1 year master's degree or 2 years master degree. And how about when you have 3 years degree and 4 years degree, we'll have the same stream. 3 years degree can as well be the exit option of 4 years honors degree. And likewise, there will be 2 years master's degree. The 4 years degree holders can have a lateral entry to the second year. And one can also have an integrated PhD program, wherein one can exit after 1 year of coursework. Those who with 4 years honors degree with a strong research component, if they get into PhD program, they will go through the 2 semester coursework. They can exit afterwards with the master degree as well. Therefore, one can easily have integrated PhD program. And this is where these institutes shall make different types of institutions will also be there. This I have mentioned about the 3 categories of institutions. Let me not go into the details of it. I have talked about multidisciplinarity and faculty and institutional autonomy, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support. What is the teacher's autonomy? I talk about it. For example, it may not happen in an affiliating university, but it may happen in institutions like Ahmed University. A teacher may be delivering a course for a batch of students. He may think whatever that is included is not that relevant. If I would have included something else, it would have benefited more the candidates. Then the teacher will have the freedom with the, of course, in consultation with the management, modify the curriculum content, teach, deliver it, and then assess them. Therefore, that can be incorporated into the curriculum content. Therefore, not only the institutions will have autonomy, even the teachers themselves will have autonomy. Therefore, the governance of HEIs should be by qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. But of course, it comes with the responsibility. Therefore, we must be qualified or deserve to get this autonomy. Therefore, only those institutions have that capacity, only those institutions will get autonomy. Not all types of institutions would get autonomy. And of course, there should be emphasis on it. I have mentioned about 4 verticals of Higher Education Commission of India. Therefore, the idea is to promote imaginative and flexible curricular structure, multiple entry and exit options. And I have already talked about reimagining vocational and teacher education. What is the educational transformations? Pick teachers and timings. Therefore, depending on if I deliver a course that is useful to the candidate, then you would take it. Otherwise, why would you waste this our time in the classroom? You would offer other courses. There is a flexibility now. The frame of your own courses, the candidate can make up. And of course, if he should be properly guided, he can decide what to choose. In order to finally arrive at a particular degree, there will be specifications. These are to be fulfilled. If the candidate fulfills these things and secures earns credits and deposits them in the academic ABC, eventually he can redeem those credits and he may get the certificate, he may get the diploma, or he may get the basic undergraduate degree or 4 years honors degree. One can get it. Therefore, he would have the freedom of this. Study through any mode. It is a real world learning on exams on demand when ready. But this is where the technology integration of higher education into higher education has to be done. The talk about it, it looks very interesting, but to put it into practice, to implement it, execute it, it is a difficult task. This is where the IQAC should empower itself, equip itself to deliver all these aspirations of our future students. Therefore, if you look at these things, let me not go into the details of this academic bank of credits building block. What is the freedom the candidates enjoy? That is where all these things we have to understand. We have to have this structure. There should be people to convince our graduates how to go about it. What if they do? They eventually the degree and the courses they take are useful. Therefore, the candidate, whenever he takes a program course, it should be useful to the candidate one way or the other. It should either improve his employability or improve his entrepreneurship, or it should improve the well-rounded personality of it. Therefore, whatever one takes, it should be useful one way or the other. It should not go waste. Therefore, then my topic, as you know, role of leadership and management in higher education. This is section 19 is completely devoted these aspects in National Higher Education Policy 2020 document. Therefore, it talks about the effective governance and leadership in higher education institutions. It advocates a strong self-governance and outstanding merit-based opportunities, appointments of institutional leaders. I'm not saying that it should ignore the equity and social justice. Therefore, whatever social justice should be there, the inclusiveness should be there. Whenever we select in particular section of the societal group, the top one, the best one should be picked. Therefore, there should be the merit-based appointments in each category of a social strategy. One has to do it. Therefore, it also states that higher education institution in India will aim to become independent, self-governing institutions pursuing innovation and excellence. Therefore, this can happen. What would be the coordinating body? It is the IQAC that plays an important role in that. A board of governors shall be established consisting of a group of highly qualified, competent, and dedicated individuals having proven capability and a strong sense of commitment to the institution. This is very, very important. Therefore, what the particular section 19.1 says, it is the effective, because it is well known throughout the world, It is the effective governance and leadership that enables, that empowers the creation of a culture of excellence and innovation in higher education institution. Therefore, we have to ensure this. That what is the common feature of all world-class institutions globally, including India, has indeed been the existence of strong self-governance and outstanding merit-based appointments of institutional leaders. Wherever you see this strong self-governance and merit-based teachers or faculty are there, you see that naturally the quality is very high. Therefore, we should aim towards it. All higher education institutions in India therefore should aim to become independent, self-governing institutions pursuing innovation and excellence. Therefore, in order to become that, we must deserve first. Therefore, we have to upgrade ourselves. We have to qualify, get qualified, make ourselves deserving for this. Once we do that, then otherwise, if we give power to those who cannot deliver it effectively, it would be misuse of it. Therefore, it would destroy the fabric of higher education system. Therefore, the aspirations are good. To what extent we can do that? That depends on the institution, how the institution do it, how these things are being monitored and evaluated. That has to be done through IQAC. Therefore, IQAC role in under NEP 2020, it has increased manifold. Therefore, to ensure leadership of the highest quality and promote an institutional culture of excellence. Upon how to get this, only when you become eligible, one can get this sort of self-governing body with all autonomy. Therefore, NEP anticipates will be empowered to govern the institution free of any external interference, make all appointments, including that of head of the institution, and take all decisions regarding governance. Therefore, the board of governance will appoint even the vice chancellor. The government will not appoint the vice chancellor. The board of governance will constitute the search cum selection committee. That would recommend a panel of names. Therefore, the BOG will have the power to appoint the vice chancellor. If he or she does not perform well, he should be removed. Therefore, it will have the power to remove the person. Therefore, it will that there should be an overarching legislation that will supersede any earlier provision against it. Therefore, you have to empower higher education institutions to do that, to have the self-governance and make merit-based appointments. Therefore, this has to be exercised with caution. Otherwise, we always tend to misuse it. Therefore, the right people should be at the helm of affairs. Therefore, we should train people. We should produce leaders, good leaders. Therefore, you start preparing them. You know what will happen in India. We know what is happening in other countries. Therefore, as you know, in a president, there will be a president-elect. He gets trained 3-4 months before he takes over in January of a particular year as president of United States. Likewise, even in institutions, in higher education institutions, we have to prepare leaders well in advance, make an appointment well in advance. You get him used to it, get into the system, then you start governing. Otherwise, what happens, it would be a situation like a postgraduate who gets the degree, if he is appointed as a teacher in an institution, what will happen? What would be the fate for teachers? That will be the situation. Therefore, that is what we have to take all precautions. Not only that, the board will nominate members. Outgoing board will nominate the members of the incoming board. Therefore, the selection of new members, it will not be just ad hoc cover, and one will not have any discretionary power. There will be an expert committee. It will prepare panel of names under each category of the composition of board of governors. Therefore, only it has to pick from the identified expert panel only. Therefore, it says all higher education institutions will be incentivized, supported, and mentored during this process and shall aim to become autonomous and have empowered BYG by 2035. We have another 13 years to go. Within that, all these things are to be done. It can only be done carefully planning, carefully executing, carefully taking into the system highly qualified, deserving, dedicated, committed people into the system. They can only improve, empower the institutions. They would be useful to our stakeholders. Therefore, the BOG shall be responsible and accountable to the stakeholders through transparent self-disclosures of all relevant records. Therefore, there won't be any inspection raj. Therefore, we have to disclose all these things. The field guilty will be severely punished. Therefore, the NEP talks about light but tight. Therefore, if we have that, and in my opinion, even the faculty appointment should be tenure based. You appoint them for 5 years. See how they perform. If they perform, continue, renew them. Don't penalize them. If they don't perform, they have to either improve, perform, or quit. That should be the attitude. Unless we do it, it is very difficult to improve the quality of education and higher educational institutions. What is happening in most of the institutions? I was in 3 universities. I know what was happening there. The moment one becomes a professor, he becomes complacent, looks for elsewhere, other opportunity. He will not concentrate on teaching and research. Therefore, you know what a professor, an academician does in US and other Western countries. He has to be in his toes. Otherwise, he may be removed after the completion of the term. Therefore, that sort of, I'm not saying that we have to optimize our faculty. We have to make them on their toes. Therefore, they have to be committed and dedicated. Therefore, it should be a lifelong learning. Every moment we are learning. I'm almost 70 years old now. Therefore, every session is going to be a learning experience for me. Therefore, it should be lifelong learning as a meaning. Therefore, a faculty member has to consider herself or himself as a student in that particular discipline. Then only he can or she can learn. Therefore, allow questions to participate. Therefore, only when the candidate asks some questions which we do not know, that makes us to learn new things. So go back to the library, go back to the system now in the world, real world, learn things and help our students. Therefore, it will be the responsible for meeting all regulatory guidelines mandated by Higher Education Commission of India, of course, through its vertical National Higher Education Regulatory Council. Therefore, all leadership positions and heads of institutions will be offered to persons with high academic qualifications and demonstrated administrative and leadership capabilities, along with abilities to manage complex situations. I understand this is a very good statement and vision is good. To what extent do we implement them? But I am of the opinion, all these, even if 50% of these aspects are implemented, it would give good dividends. Therefore, we should try to do it rather than attempting to do it. Let us not criticize these things. Therefore, let us try to implement all these things with all seriousness. Therefore, leaders of any higher education institution shall demonstrate strong alignment to constitutional values and the overall vision of the institution, along with, of course, attributes such as a strong social commitment, belief in teamwork, pluralism, ability to work with others, diverse people, and a positive outlook. Therefore, selection shall be carried out by the BOG through a rigorous, impartial, merit-based, competency-based process led by an eminent expert committee constituted by the BOG. All these things can be done, carried through the IQAC. Therefore, the IQAC should be headed by a right leader with the right composition so that deliver these things more effectively, so that it can assist the Board of Governors in doing that. Therefore, outstanding leadership, it says, will be identified and developed early. This is what it envisages, aspirations of NEP. The implementation is in our hands. Therefore, we should do it all these things. Therefore, if I were to have time, I would have gone into the details what we have done in Karnataka. We have implemented the academic programs as per NEP from this academic year itself, we are conducting those programs. We have all these component, whatever that is envisaged in the NEP document. And we have also allowed exit option. And we are talking about what do we expect from in the first year of the program? What do we expect from a graduate in the second year? What do we expect in the third year, fourth year, etc.? All these things we have highlighted it. And of course, this part of it. And the school education from next year onwards, we are implementing it. Higher education part, we have implemented it from this academic year. And therefore, as I have already told you, we are planning to have Karnataka Shikshana Ayoga. It would coordinate all higher education, because the higher education is get distributed among various departments. It's not only under higher education department, it is under medical education, agricultural department, rural development, the law department, etc. Therefore, it not only it has to comprehend, coordinate school and higher education, even among higher education, it has to coordinate. Therefore, it will be headed by Honorable Chief Minister, and it will have two vice chairpersons, one from higher education, other from school education. And then we'll have the Higher Education Commission of Karnataka. It will have three verticals, and we have already drafted a new act as per NEP, empowering all higher education institutions. Karnataka State Higher Education Institutions Act, we have drafted it. It is in a final stage. I happen to be in that committee, playing an important role in that. Therefore, that would be ready probably in about a month's time. It will be moved in the legislation. Whatever that is contemplated in NEP, that is incorporated into our act. And therefore, we are planning all these things, institutional development. Again, in institutional development plan, in every aspects of which IQAC can play an important role. Inclusiveness, greater autonomy, we are taking steps in that. Only constraint, as you all know, the finances. Therefore, in order to effectively implement these things, therefore, spending on education, spending on higher education should increase. That is only possible when the spending, if we increase on education to 6% of GDP. If we are adequately supported, then only we can effectively implement this. We know the ambitions, our dreams are good, but to effectively implement them, we need men and material. Therefore, in order to do that, the government, not only at the central government level, the state government should support us in doing these things. This is what the structure we have suggested for school education, starting from 5+3+3+4, etc. Different sections to effectively implement it. I've talked about this also. And our programs, it runs like this. Our 4 years undergraduate program, we have allowed candidates to choose any 2 subjects, so that eventually in the third year, you can choose continue as one as major, other as minor, or you can continue dual major to get the dual degree sort of thing. And we have made experiential learning mandatory. Therefore, internship, we have made it mandatory. And we have made health and wellness, sports and yoga, all these things we have made mandatory. These are all credit courses we have made it. And therefore, they have to study 2 languages first 2 years, and therefore open elective. All these aspects, skill ability enhancement courses and moral activity, all these things we have included it. We are awarding for certificate at the completion of 2 semesters, diploma at the completion of second year or 4th semester, degree after the completion of 3 years. Therefore, they can come back out within 7 years, because ABC prescribed 7 years period validated the course that they have passed. Therefore, although 4th year degree is optional, that is optional, preferable option, because the master degree may lose importance here afterwards, because as one can enter with 4 years honors degree with research component, PhD, therefore master degree may not be needed unless if one is not intending to get a doctorate degree, then one may take the master's degree. And here again, we have aligned these exit options, first year course, second year, third year course to national skill qualification framework part, all these things we have done it. It's a very long way. We have worked out the complete structure of it. If someone is interested in, I can send the entire text or the PPT part of it. Let me not take much of your time. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my point of view. And it was a learning experience for me. I thank you one and all for your patience.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful talk. You really brought an extensive topic and you gave it to us in a nutshell. Thank you very much for it, sir.
Thank
Now
you.
I kindly welcome, sir. Now I kindly invite our register to introduce the next speaker to the proceedings, Professor Appar Rao Pradai.
Thank you, Madam. A very warm welcome to Professor Appar Rao, a towering personality in the field of plant microbe interactions. Sir, I would like to personally submit that I also work on plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, trained by Professor yes, sir.
Sir, I am very much indebted to you, sir. Former Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University and presently Vice Chairman, sir. Sir, I know pretty well you are very busy person, especially many things are going on in Karnataka right now.
Yes,
Instead of all these things, now you found the time to come over here and presented a clear picture about what each higher education institution should do, especially in the area of governance in particular, but overall in general. Really very, very impressive, sir. Very impressive and informative as well. If you permit, you can share your presentation. We can share with the other institutions also, sir.
Yeah, I will do that. It was my pleasure. It was a
Very
great
kind of you,
opportunity
sir.
for me, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
indeed.
for
Thank you.
that.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
and
a lot.
joining, helping. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Please
Sorry.
forgive.
Now, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Jayaprakash.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the university, I fondly welcome Professor Appar Rao Podle and take the pleasure of introducing him to the audience. Professor Appar Rao Podle is a senior professor in the Department of Plant Science, and he was also the Vice Chancellor of University of Hyderabad, and where he served also as a professor for a long period. Professor is also a postdoctoral fellow from the Academy of Senia, Taipei, Taiwan. Professor has more than 40 years of teaching and research experience. He works on molecular plant microbe interaction. Incidentally, sir, I also work on plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, trained by Professor Gnanamanikam and Dr. Madhivanan. And SAR's work on soil and crop microbiome, especially with reference to legumes, is of national and international repute. Professor Appar Rao Podle is the elected fellow of almost all science academics in India, more importantly, Indian Academy of Sciences, National Academy of Agriculture Sciences, National Academy of Sciences, and he is the founding fellow of Telangana Academy of Sciences. Professor also served as the president of Association of Microbiologists in India and a prestigious recipient of J.C. Bose Fellowship from DST, Tata Innovation Fellowship from DBT, and K.C. Mehta Memorial Award in crop protection from the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences. SAR also has received a rare distinction of being conferred as the Millennium Plaque of Honor at the Indian Science Congress Association. SAR is also received Honorary Doctor of Science from Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Awadh University, Faizabad, UP. And Professor Appar Rao has guided more than 30 PhD scholars and 10 MPhil scholars, and many postdoctoral fellows also being guided by Professor Appar Rao Podle. Professor has also established a great laboratory using the SERB grant and JC Force Fellowship from DST. He has also received a major research grant for his work on nanotechnology from DBT. Such a illustrious personality with over 150 papers in high impact factor journals, 25 book chapters, and more than 10 edited book volumes with over 5,000 citations and H index of 39 and I-10 index of 83. A formidable personality in the research is now with us to delegate on the quality research is a backbone for higher educational institutions. Such an apt person is delivering their talk on quality research is a backbone for higher education institution. With this, I welcome Professor Appar Rao Podle. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jay Prakash. The registrar of Emmet University, and thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. Tiruvasagam, who has taken the initiative to organize this particular conference at Emmet, where I think it is coinciding with the Foundation Day. I congratulate the Emmet on this very august day where this institution has been founded. And this conference is very important in many aspects. There are many different things that our friends have been talking about. I'm not keen about repeating any one of them. I would rather like to stick to the point that I have agreed to discuss today. That is the research, quality research, which becomes the backbone, which is a backbone for any of higher education institution, is something which I wanted to highlight. I'm not interested to talk about IQAC. As you know, during my tenure, University of Hyderabad has received the Institution of Eminence status, and we have followed everything that was required. And that's where this university has become an Institution of Eminence in the first batch that the Government of India has recognized. So there is no point in emphasizing, repeating on the points that are already listed in a new education policy. There are things which have been there defined under IQAC, which everybody can obtain through a documentation, through the different documents that are available. I thought I will spend this another 25 minutes with you. I would like to probably share the screen, allows open system. Is my screen visible? Can somebody confirm?
Sir, yet to receive, sir.
Not yet, sir. Not yet.
Yet to receive, sir.
Is it visible now?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet.
Yes, sir.
Oh, come. Just a minute. Am I supposed to share at the desktop one, or what is this? It is open systems preferences it is talking about.
Sir, your PowerPoint is open, sir, in your screen?
Yeah, my slide, my PowerPoint is open, but it is suggesting me to open some systems preferences and all that. First time it has happened to me. It never happened before.
Sir, you can click on the share screen button, which is.
Yeah, I did that.
And also, okay, sir, fine.
I'm only going through that share screen option. Hey, come on. Let me do one thing. Instead of wasting time like this, I will share my presentation with you. One of you can help me presenting this.
That's a good idea, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To the IQAC Emmet ID, I am sharing my presentation.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, you will get it now in a minute. I think that
Yes,
I've already shared. One of you can start sharing that screen from your side. What I wanted to share with you is this under the institutionalization of these quality assurance strategies, all of us have realized that the quality research becomes a backbone, and research is essential part of it. And many people in the universities, because of poor processes of selection of higher education leaders and also the faculty, for various reasons that are happening across the country, people really do not understand what is the need for research. And we must realize that in every sphere of activity, Professor Timegowda was repeatedly talking about it, and even the earlier speaker was talking about it. In every sphere of activity, we have to acknowledge that we always have more to learn, and that people ignore. People, after reaching certain stage, after getting an appointment in some institution, they start thinking that whatever they have learned is sufficient, and that's the complacency of is what is actually bothering people, and people forget and tend to forget about the essentials of why we need to do and get into research. And even if we take our personal experiences, not everything we know, even when we are 60 or 70, we still have to learn many things. And research has to be understood in this manner, that it unlocks the unknowns and it allows us an opportunity to explore the world from different perspectives. And it is the research which fuels a deeper understanding of any subject that we have. Are you able to share the screen, Professor Jayaprakash?
Sir, now the screen is visible, sir.
My screen is visible or your screen is visible?
Sir, the PowerPoint slide is visible, sir.
From my side?
No, sir, from the admin, they are sharing.
Okay, from admin, no problem. Then let me look at that. You can move the slide. Then I have already moved to the first slide. You can move to the next slide. Yes, next slide, please. Research sometimes is required in some areas, and sometimes in some areas people think that research is not required. But doing research always will help us to have additional knowledge and additional information that will always be useful, whether it is immediately demanding or not. And when having said that there is a need for research, we have to understand how that quality is important. And if we do research and we don't produce an evidence, a quality evidence, and it cannot be called as a quality research. And that's where best of the research publications, if you look at, they will have an evidence presented from multiple angles on a same to establish the same fact. That's where, and the more the type of evidences that you can produce, the more it will improve the quality of it. And therefore, I would suggest that the quality research is a precursor to a quality evidence. And how this quality research comes in. People talk about quality and all. Where from this quality comes? It's not, the quality doesn't come all of a sudden just like that. And it comes when your research has an overall study design, well designed. These are the things that our teachers should be aware of. These are the things that our students should be aware of. And the specific research questions. You ask any silly question and then say that I have asked a question and carried out research, it doesn't have any meaning. So what is that specific research question that you have raised? And that actually counts in the quality. And the most important will be the methods. What is that method that you have used to obtain the evidence? These are very, very important things, like the study design, research question, the methodology that you have followed, the coherence with which you have approached the addressing that question. And last and may not be the least important one is the consistency in the findings that we have. Whether we are able to reproduce that, or we are only making a small observation once and then say that this is all it is. None of them qualify as quality researchers. If all these are properly taken care, you can always be confident that your research can be quality research. A quality evidence base always requires, or typically requires, more than a single research study. What I mean to say is you must repeat several times and confirm that this evidence, quality evidence, is based on these kind of multiple research studies that we have carried out. Next one. We can go on giving different reasons as to why we should be doing research. At least I will have listed say half a dozen or seven, eight of them. The first and foremost is it helps us to know what we are up against. This is very important. When we start looking at it, then only we realize what are the challenges that we have. If we don't look at it, we don't understand the developments in that area, and we just keep talking, gossiping about that, saying that, so that has happened, this has happened, it has no meaning. When we start looking at it, when we dig into the finer details of the topic, then we understand what is that we are up against and who are all our competitors, the people who are already working in that area, and all that we have to understand. And this really pushes us to understand what we are up against. And very important thing is it builds credibility. Your credibility as a researcher, as an individual, will always be enhanced if your contributions are good in research. And when you carry out research, what happens is you cannot do a research on a broad-based theme. You have to narrow down, and identify exact gap area. And that helps you to understand the scope of it in a narrow perspective, not narrow perspective, I would say, how narrow you can see the scope, and how that will, when you see it, we talk about Arjuna, the way he targets his, identifies, he shoots his arrow to the target. You have to narrow in, and you should see only that, and then you are staying focused on it. That is what research will help us, and it teaches us a better discernment, and obviously it introduces us to new ideas. Next slide. There are furthermore things as to why there should be research. Helps in problem solving. These are the ways we have to look at research. Research should not be looked at as an essential thing that we are carrying out in a university or a college, where we just write something, ask the student to do something, without knowing the details of all this, without knowing as to how we are going to contribute to this research. And it helps us to reach the people. When you have carried out a good kind of any research that has an application to the society, it will quickly help you to take to the, Dr. Jayaprakash Vel was talking about the common interest that Professor Sam Gnanamanikam, Professor Madhivanan, and Jayaprakash Vel have been working, and we were also there in the field in the plant growth promoting bacteria. We have satisfaction that these bacteria and the organisms that we have developed have been taken to the field, and the farmers are making use of it. And that is what is the advantage of being in research. And science is always curiosity. And why science? Any learning process is curiosity based, and research is an advanced process of learning, and therefore it encourages more and more of a curiosity in the individuals. So I'm sure you understand that these are sufficient enough reasons for us to consider research. And quality within research, why quality is important, also I have emphasized. I would like to tell a few more things, then explain what is research and what is quality, and further take you to, there are two confusing things for the faculty, that somebody talks about impact factor, somebody talks about citation, somebody talks about X, somebody talks about Y, and how the quality is judged. This is a topic which I'm sure all coffee tables are discussing. People, they keep on discussing, keep on debating without understanding the finer details of it. Essentially, we should understand that every small parameter that people talk about quality counts. When your contribution qualifies all those parameters collectively, then it becomes a quality publication. This is what we must remember. Never ever think that my impact factor publication is a quality publication, my high cited publication is a quality publication, or XYZ, my publication in an X journal is a quality publication. No. Next slide, please. So I'm trying to present this research in a simplified process because I'm not talking about talking to only science people. It is a general thing that I'm trying to talk about. Primarily, it is a process of gathering information, but there is a mental process which is involved in deriving the answer to the question. A physical process where gathering information is there. Information gathering can be literature collection, information gathering can be methodology, information gathering can be generating the data, information gathering can be analysis of the data. All that is a process. And then there's a mental process of deriving the answer to the question. As I already mentioned, research is all about asking a question. Are we asking a question? First, you must remember, if we have asked a question and if we asked a quality question, and if we have gathered sufficient information through a physical process and applied our mind to derive the answer to this, and it has to be dependent only on the information that you have gathered, then only it qualifies to be research. So let's remember, friends, the information that we have gathered through a physical process and the answer that we have drawn out of it through a mental process qualifies to be a research. It's disappearing your screen. It's more like a practice of working in a scientific manner. For those who are not in science, what is that? The pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the natural and social world following a systematic methodology-based evidence. I'm repeatedly using these words: systematic methodology and evidence-based and application of mental process. If these are not involved and collecting, gathering right kind of information, and then repeatability, if all these are not there, and if your question is not of a right kind of a question, if all these are not there, we are nowhere in research, nowhere in quality. Next slide, please. Then after carrying out research, let's see what quality is dependent on what. It is encompassing all the aspects of study design, and in particular, the judgment regarding the match between the methods and the questions. If you ask one question and you apply a different method, it is of no relevance. And second most important, and although I have written as a second topic point here, selection of subject. What is that topic that you have selected? What is that question that you have selected? Selection of subject meaning not the subject of plant science or the microbiology. It's not the subject I'm talking. The research subject that you have chosen is very important. And that decides most of your quality. How you select your question judges the most important quality parameter. Measurement of the outcomes. How do we measure the outcomes? Protection against the different biases, systematic and non-systematic biases that you can have, and avoiding the inferential errors. All these things contribute to the research quality. Next slide. So the quality research practice has certain dimensions, and they are all influenced in all these points that I have listed under green. A truly important issue at many levels is a host of different settings like resource allocation, scientific activity, and the careers of researchers across the globe. All these things are crucial issues at many different levels. A different institution may have a different type of setting for that. And it will be visible and influenced by the research grant applications, research manuscripts and publications, specific research topics, and research groups and constellations and institutions that we have, and national systems for producing science and innovative practices. These are the things that influence finally the quality of research practice in a place. Next slide. Next slide, please. Having done research, if we don't know how to write, if we are not able to convey it, communicate it properly, then it has no meaning and it has no relevance. So what is this research writing? When people talk about all kinds of trash is being published in all kinds of spurious and then what predatory journals, which has brought down the reputation of the country globally. And this is something which every institution must discourage and must punish the people who are getting into the unethical practices of plagiarism or publishing something for the sake of publishing. This is something has to be discouraged at all levels, and it has to be you should have carried out research as we have discussed now. And then when you are to convey this, that is what we are calling as research writing. The process of sharing the answer to the research question that we have raised, along with the evidence on which the answer is based, and in which you must always give the sources that you have used, including the reference sources, including the methodology sources, including the equipment that you have used, the details of the equipment that you have used as to how, which model, which make of the equipment that you have used, and all that without having author's own reasoning and explanation does not become research writing. If you think that I will carry out an experiment and then write down the results and then want to publish, what is that you want to publish? What is your reasoning for that? What is the explanation that you're giving for your answer? How you have derived that answer? All these have to become visible in our research paper. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yes. Yeah, there are a couple of things that I would like to show as building blocks of research writing. And after that, I have some points which I will mention as quality parameters for a research publication. Building blocks of research writing, whatever the type of question that you are answering, what kind of reader you are assuming, essential components of research writing will remain the same. Whether you are writing, the kind of question you are addressing is not the one, the kind of reader is not the one. The essential components of research writing will remain the same, whatever may be the purpose for which you are writing. Next slide, please. I think we have some of the things there in the, yes. For that, what I have said, we must do real research. Begin with a question, begin from a question to which you don't know the answer, and it cannot be answered just by going to an appropriate reference source. Remember this, my dear friends, and I request the administration and the IQAC to ensure that these kinds of things are verified. It is not the routine checklist that we are verifying. Begin from a research question, not from a homework question. For me, what is the homework question? A question for which you can always find an answer by searching the right kind of literature. That is a homework question. So research question is different from a homework question. Decide what kind of information or data will be needed to build the answer to the question. Then gather the information and collect the data, and then work with that information to derive or construct the answer. So my dear friends, this is the research process, and it happens before writing the paper. If we have not done research, there is no writing, no research writing. Next slide. So when we are writing, we should be able to convey effectively as to what we are trying to convey. We should be able to create a one-sentence answer to the research question. The thesis statement, or you may call it as a main point, or you may call it as the controlling idea of the research paper. Whatever it is, create a one-sentence answer to the research question. This is very important. Next one. Share the answer to research questions in a manner that make it believable, understandable, usable for the readers. If these purposes are not served, it is only serving your promotion purpose. If it cannot be believed, and you are still able to publish in a predatory journal or in a third-rate journal or a journal which has no review process, it will only be, you will be counting it as somebody asked me after these kind of discussions. I am always, I wonder, a care list, UGC list. Why are we bothered about use list? I am a member of the core committee of the UGC care list. But then, why are we bothered about the care list? Why are we bothered about UGC list? We should bother about the quality of our publication. Then automatically it will be part of it. I have never looked into the 110 papers that we have published, whether they fall into care list, whether they fall into UGC list or not. Because I believe that they automatically will be part of it. Include well-chosen examples from the data and information gathered, and indicate the validity of data accurately by reporting research method. Indicate the quality of information by accurately citing sources. Provide the reasoning and explanation that will let the readers completely understand how the evidence adds up to the answer. My IQAC friends, please remember that these are the things, whether your friends, your colleagues who are putting up their papers, have they stuck to these kind of basics of research writing, and whether their paper has been published in a peer-reviewed journal or not. These are the things that you need to verify. If it is to verify whether it is published in a journal or not, I don't see a need for an IQAC, a big setup in an institution. What we need is a computer which will say a paper is published or not. Yes, it will tick. No, it will tick. Next slide, please. I think I'll quickly finish it now. Indicators of quality will be the last things that I will be discussing in another 2-3 minutes. The indicators of quality research publications, as I said, none of these are independently indicators of quality, but collectively they are indicators of quality of research publications. Citations, how many times your paper has been cited, your article has been cited, and then the journal impact factor is another important factor that people always give respect to that. And the crucial aspect of this indicator of quality is the peer review process. Evaluation of the scientific, academic, or professional work by the other researchers working in the same field. There you have to qualify that your work is of good quality. That is very, very important. And criteria of selection of expert referee in the field by the editorial board also influences in setting the quality of the paper. That's where the role of the editorial board of a journal is very, very important in what you call upholding the standards of that particular journal, and in bringing out only quality research publications through that particular journal. Next slide, please. So these are a few things that are coming in the market, and we have to go with them. It is not that we have to always go only behind one of them. Ranking of the journal and standardized research reporting framework you have to give, and whether there is a scope for dialogue and discourse on your publication is an important issue. And more, all of us, those who are conscious of these rankings, we always think about publishing, at least ensure that your publications are in the first quartile in a given area. Vice Chancellor sir and Registrar sir, all of you, please remember, if our colleagues have published in, at least I kept on telling in the university that if we have published in first quartile journals, at least 24 publications in a year, your university will be in the top. Next slide. All that I have put it in a small pictorial form here. What are the different things that influence the research quality, the credibility, the contributory nature, what is the kind of contribution it is going to give, and how it is communicating with the society, and how it is conforming with the things. These are the 4 major things. And in each one, you have different aspects that cover the research quality. I don't want to overstep into the time. I thought I'll finish in my 25 minutes. I hope I have done it in 25 minutes. And I wish to answer any clarifications if some of you have. And I have no problem if the organizers would like to share the screen, not the screen, share the presentation with any of them. If they want to use, any one of you want to use it, only I request you to acknowledge it and then make use of it. And don't ever try to say that it's my presentation or X presentation or whatever. That's the best practice that we must learn, to acknowledge. If we have taken from a source, we should be able to acknowledge that source. And that's what I would like to say. And finally, I would like to thank again our Vice Chancellor, Colonel Dr. Tiruvasagam, and the Registrar, IQAC team, and all of you for organizing this on a foundation day. And these are the topics. This is a topic which I thought I can definitely add some inputs to you and enlighten some of you to think about what, it's not vaguely you talk about quality. What is that we have to look into that when we are talking about quality? And for talking about such of those things, sometimes I have become, maybe many times I have become enemy to several of the colleagues in the institution, but there is no other way. You have to talk about this. You have to judge the publications. You have to judge the quality of research only based on this. If we are compromising on this, we are compromising on the institutional growth. This is what I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Before going to the formal vote of thanks, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the Vice Chancellor. Dr. Sir, I have been listening your presentation. As a matter of fact, it's a learning process for me as well. And you have stressed many things without any hesitation. It's a fact as well. You are sharing the whatever the reality going on in higher education institutions. Basically, I have to accept we are compromising. We are compromising on many aspects, not only in publication and the PhD. In many aspects, we are compromising just to satisfy the accrediting agencies and other stakeholders as well. But you are the leader. So when it were introduced by our registrar, it was an astonishing fact that your contribution to the research is very much laudable and commendable as well. And I am happy about your nice presentation. Hopefully, not hopefully, I will extend the invitation to you. You come to our university, be part of it and help us. And we will be putting you in the top level committee I mean, you can understand as your Vice Chancellor. Please help Amit as well. Thank you very much. Nice meeting with you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It would be my pleasure to help any institution with knowledge, with information, knowledge that I have. And only thing is, I may look blunt, and sometimes it is required if you are if you are in administration. I'm sure you face it, and every day it is.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Professor. It's a great. You have joined with us. It's a great opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We really acknowledge your profound knowledge in imparting the blocks of research. And moreover, it was really a great insight. You have given us the credibility about a research paper and the way it has to be presented. It was so wonderful for being a part of your session, sir. Of course, it was really a great insight that you've given us. Thank you so much for it, sir. Thank you very much once again, sir. Thank you. I once again state that I thank every participant who has contributed to the successful completion of the session today. We invite you to be a part of the session tomorrow, which begins at 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Today any session is there in the afternoon?
So yes, we have a paper presentation in the afternoon.
Yeah, please
session,
inform
sir.
that.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Participants, please also
Yeah,
join the paper presentation at 2 p.m. starts today.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing the information, sir. Thank you so much.
Dr. Arivalagam, formally we are closing now, right? We are coming back again 2 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir. We begin the paper presentation at 2 in the afternoon today, sir. So
all the participants, please come back and join at 2 p.m. today. In the same
kindly invite all our participants to join the session again at 2 this afternoon for our paper presentations.